mean, this is just honestly a recipe for disaster. This is one of not just one, like dealing with harassment or just dealing with the heat or just dealing with the high staff count. They're all their own little battles, but we're doing all of them combined.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the member's best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have Greg Kerwood out of Local 25 in Boston and Sean Williams out of Local 71 in Charlotte. So today we're going to cover the 3 H's: the heat, the high stop count, and the harassment. And these are a deadly combination, especially you put them all together. And it's very topical right now. We're seeing it everywhere. It just seems like the hotter it gets, the more stops you get, and maybe even the more warning letters you get. So when I bring these 3 things up, Greg, what kind of comes to mind?
Well, I would say that, right now the company is not hiring anybody. That's the 4th H that seems to be missing. So we have this combination of a super large heat wave that just swept through all of our areas. The fact that they're not hiring people, so the stop counts are going through the roof as we hit in summer vacations. And obviously they're still, harassing everyone going back to last year's contract. So the 3 of those put together, as you said, can be a deadly combination. If you get a driver out there who feels like they're being pushed to the limit and have no way out, and they're out there in 95 to 100 degree heat with humidity and killing themselves to get it done because they're in fear of their job, that's a recipe for disaster.
And so, Sean, with that being said, I mean, what are some tips you can throw to these drivers that may be struggling with these 3 H's?
The first tip I would give is make sure you take care of yourself and your body. That's number one. Safety is always paramount. The second tip I would give to everyone as far as harassment is maintain your composure. Whenever you deal in a heated situation, it tends to boil over whenever you're being taunted or harassed or coerced in some sort of way. So just maintain your composure day to day. And the last thing is the high stop count. You have to think about this. The company's here to make money. Part of the harassment is not to directly harass you for anything, but it's to harass you to get you to work faster and get you to work and do more. So you have to break those things down in your mind first and foremost. When you break it down, you'll be able to deal with anything that they throw your way.
And I think everybody has those members in their building that they somehow go out with 250 stops and get done at 5 o'clock. What dangers may lie for those members, Greg?
Well, it's certainly with the shortage of staffing in the summer, that 250, which is certainly beyond my comprehension to get done to begin with, but it turns into 300. And the rule of thumb at UPS is as long as you keep getting it done, they'll keep giving it to you, with the cherry on top.
Hey, I just want to add something in post. We're talking about these members that get done super early, like 5, 4 o'clock, and they go out with like 200 plus stops. I already see it happening. These people the other members that have elevated meetings for their 9-5s, they're moving the work around, and they're going to move it on to those people blowing out the routes. The company's hand's going to be forced into it because it's either they have the elevated meetings or they load down the people that already has a lot of work. So just something to keep in mind.
Everything at this company is a mental game. The battle's fought between your ears. And as Sean said, you have to get yourself in the mindset of, you're going to go out, you're going to take care of yourself, number one, because you're more important than boxes. And you're going to do the job, do it right, and do it safely.
You have to have that one movement, that one motion, that one gear. That is what I like to say all the time. It's that one gear. When I was younger, I always put it from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then 5, 5th gear. I'd be wide open. And as you get long in your career, like we are, you tend to always have to settle in that cruise control. So for me, that cruise control is 3. I go from 1 to 2 to 3, and I stay at 3 that whole day. Why? Because I'm maintaining a steady work pace where I'm not overexerting myself. I'm keeping my focus. I'm sipping my water every 20 minutes or so. I'm keeping that same rhythm all day long.
And so some of this of what we're covering right now, you may run into some situations that you may not be expecting. I had a member reach out to me recently. He was running on Saturday. It was his 5th day. He'd already worked insane hours. And then when Saturday hit, he didn't know the route because it's Saturday. You know, they change all the time. You're running all over the place. And then on top of it, he was dealing with the excessive heat and he was just exhausted. And so he started running this route and he's driving, he's just following the map nav, and it's like the map nav's like turning him in circles and everything else. And he burned a lot of time during that time. And after he was done, you know, he went home, he tried to get into his house, he kept putting the code in. Turns out the code he was using was actually his his PIN number for his bank, not his front door. But he realized then that the heat was actually getting to him. You know, it kind of creeps up on you. You may not even realize it. And what this can do is that you can be making mistakes at work that don't look good on paper. You know, the thing is with this heat happening, people make a lot of mistakes out there. You can, for one, not deliver everything and not even realize it. A lot of times people just want to hurry up and get done and go home, right? Well, what ends up happening is maybe a box falls over. Maybe there's that package that you missed. Maybe you have a missile in your truck you don't even realize. You bring it back to the hub. Right now, they're doing audits like crazy. So they get on the truck, they audit you. Guess what? You got a package that's not been scanned. It's going to cost you your job. It's not worth it. And so I highly encourage everybody out there to check your truck before you head back in. That's number one. Number two is that if you start making mistakes out there, you know, inform management if you're feeling heat-related issues. Why? Not just for yourself, but to cover your butt, you know? As we run into this situation, I don't want you to make mistakes out there that could be perceived as dishonesty, and then you are out of your job as well. The other thing is that we've seen in the past, and I'm not saying this is related or not related, but we've seen severe accidents. People are rushing, you know, with the heat and everything else. You know, your mind's not 100% there, especially with these long hours. I mean, this is just honestly a recipe for disaster. This is one of, not just one, like dealing with harassment or just dealing with the heat or just dealing with the high staff count. They're all their own little battles, dealing with all of them combined. And this just is a recipe for disaster. I am seriously concerned of what's going to be happening in the next couple months, because I think that this could blow up into something really bad. And it's up to us to enforce our rights and enforce what we have in the contract to help prevent these things from happening, because this stuff is going to cost somebody their job. Could cost somebody their life. And it's just something that we have to watch each other's backs over, because the company, they're out to make a buck. They're out to make a profit. They don't care about you. They just care about their prices of their stock and making sure they're turning their quarterly earnings.
So I just would add to everybody out there, especially those of you that are newer drivers, take your lunch and take your breaks. They're there for a reason, especially when it's hot. I know, again, you get in that mentality of you got to get it done, and you know, you want to end the day faster, and you think you're going to do that by skipping that lunch and skipping those breaks, and it isn't going to help you. You know, not taking that time to cool down somewhere, to let your body rest, to rehydrate, to have some good food and refuel is only going to hurt you and make your day last longer, because you're going to lose your mental capacity, you're going to lose your physical capacity, you're going to get run down, and it's not going to help. And sooner or later, you're going to get injured, or you're going to make a mistake that, you know, could hurt you or someone else. So follow your contract, take your lunch and your breaks every single day when you're supposed to, especially in the heat.
If you have not done so already, follow Greg Kerwood. What do you want to follow today?
Second start to the right and straight on till morning.
You heard the man. We'll just put the Teamster Media Hub. How about that?
3 a.m.
Okay, yeah. All right, shout outs. Sean, who you gonna shout out tonight?
I want to shout out to my TDU brothers, the Black Caucus, and I also want to shout out to all those teams out there working hard every day and night. Remember, you are the most important person to the company, so make sure you take care of yourselves.
My shout out is going to go to all of the drivers we're talking to here who are out working in this heat and with the harassment and everything else. It's not everybody that can do this, and I think a lot of times we don't give ourselves enough credit. Sometimes either we or others, try to diminish us as truck drivers or this or that. It's not just anybody that can get on a truck and do what we do every day and do it in these conditions and do it with this level of harassment. And I think sometimes it's worthwhile to just take a pause and realize the energy, the effort, and the talent and the skill that goes into doing our job, and giving yourself a little pat on the back.
Absolutely. I know everybody's kind of exhausted right now at this point, so I do appreciate everybody tuning in and watching this. And, as somebody told me today, this job feels like you've done 5 days in 2 days. So it's very exhausting. Anyways, that's all I have, everybody. Love you, and I'll see you next time.